Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of 22 Minutes. I am Jason Bates, the applause before the name. And I bring you the lender side of things of the show, and he is Stephen Cotton coming to us in high definition, 1080p. Give him the applause there. Looks fantastic.
Like yeah, I look better. I look better.
Yeah, there you go. Looks, make sure you don't have any zits on your face or anything like that. 1080p, man. Put on the makeup, Stefan.
Oh, yeah.
I'm teasing.
Should.
Hey, this is a show about real estate. If you're new to the show, we do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Arizona time. We try to cover everything real estate, and we do cover everything real estate. So if you're looking to buy, sell, refinance, or invest in property, we definitely would love to be your team of choice. So please reach out to us. If you know of somebody who's looking to do any of those things in real estate, please have them reach out to us. We'd love to, or tell them about the show. Have them tune in to the show. You can do that and head over to our Facebook page at 22 Mins. And from there, you can write your comments below, as Stefan has done. You can see those pop up in real time. So that's pretty cool interactive thing that we're doing there with Facebook. So if you watch us from other Facebook pages, hey, thanks for tuning us in. As I know, there's a lot of information out there, a lot of other people on the web. So the fact that you're sticking with us, hey, thumbs up to you. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, we're a little bit late on today's episode. We had some technical difficulties, but that's part of being live. That happens. So apologize about that. But today I want to do a tweet quote of the day. It's not really a quote per se for today. It's more, it's an image. And sometimes, not sometimes, I think all the time, you may have heard images are worth 1,000 words.
I've heard pictures are.
Okay, pictures are worth 1,000 words.
So that's good because on a tweet quote, you can probably only get like 15, 20 words. So by this,
40 characters.
yeah, right. Small words, right? If they're all small words, and you get
right.
But with an image or a picture, then you get 1,000 words. So that's even better.
Yes, let's get to it. You may have seen this already. I don't know, but we'll see. Oh, and then Stefan is not there because we had some technical difficulties, but hopefully Stefan can see this. Can you see this, Stefan? Oh, hang on. I got to turn on your audio, buddy. There we go. There's the... And there he is. Okay, Stefan, you can hear us. I don't have you on the screen. I apologize, buddy.
Okay. I don't need to be on the screen all the time.
Yeah. Okay, but this picture here was taken, I think, about 4 or 5 days ago. And the backstory on this picture, it was taken in Georgia, and there were 3 people who were unfortunately had passed. They died in this accident. And a passerby happened to snap this picture. This is not photoshopped. This is not, rearranged or anything like that. This is the actual photo, and it has gone viral. And it's called A Pathway to Heaven. As a mother and a small 9-month-old child passed along with the mother's friend, passed in this accident. And it's pretty impactful image here when you see the 2 dots, the orbs or whatever, as this light's coming down onto the actual accident, which is, I think, worth 1,000 words.
It's impressive.
So, yeah, it's pretty impressive, man. Kind of tugs at your heart a little bit. I think anyway.
Yeah, right. What are the odds of catching it? But that's good.
Yeah, catching that.
In this day of age, where everybody can snap photos, that's why I think a lot more information is getting out there, especially in how easy it is to get that information out to the world, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think
that photo looks... Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think you and I were talking about when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. It took America like 2, 3, 4 days to find out that we were attacked because of the way the news was handed out by then. Right. And so to be able to take a photo like this and have it go all around the world instantaneously, really, like
yeah, crazy. I mean, that photo, that was from, it's all over Twitter and I'm sure Instagram and Facebook and things like that, but that actually came from the UK. A news reporter in the UK kind of reported that. So Okay, so let's get to today's trending Tuesday.
Yes.
For sale by owner. We got some stuff I'm going to kind of highlight with it, but we're going to talk about the pros and cons, I guess, for sale by owner, right?
Yes.
All right, let's get to it, buddy. All right. That didn't go to where it went right back to us, didn't it? There we go.
Yes.
Should have gone to this screen right here. All right. Cool. So for sale by owner, what is a for sale by owner? What is that? Explain that for us there,
Well,
Stefan.
people call it FSBO for short because those are
Yeah.
letters. FSBO. A for
Yeah.
sale by owner is an old time seller that doesn't see the value in hiring a realtor.
Right.
Why would I pay somebody to sell my house when there's no houses for sale in my neighborhood?
Right.
It's someone that doesn't, I mean, it's probably the same person that changes their own oil or like, it's one of those people that sees the value in a buck and they don't think, they think they can do as good a job as a realtor. And probably in most cases they can, as far as most realtors. They don't understand the full comprehension of what a realtor actually does and what they do to drive up the prices for a seller. But yeah, it's
Right.
somebody that wants to take on that responsibility themselves.
Yeah. So I've got a little video here, and I got several different clips here. Dave Ramsey. Everybody knows Dave Ramsey is a financial planner. He's also a broker, a real estate broker there in Tennessee, and he speaks to this very subject. So I thought it would be pretty cool to have his video play here, and then we can kind of talk about it when we come back.
I'll tell you this, the Pareto principle works in the real estate business just like it works in most things. 80% of the people make 20% of the money. 20% of the people make 80% of the money. So if you're going to sell your most expensive asset, in most homes, in most households, your most expensive thing that you own is your home. If you're going to hire someone to help you market that, a professional marketer, get the best. Get someone that sells a ton of houses, 80, 90, 200 houses a year. Get somebody that they sold 3 houses last year. Well, crap, you're almost as good as they are.
That's true.
He gets right to the point on that, right? And that brings up the next slide here that I want to kind of showcase, which is kind of the pyramid here of the impact of price and hiring this professional who knows the market and what's happening in your particular market. As a for sale by owner, you don't know what's going on. You think you know what's going on in the market, and you may know what your neighbor's doing or what the person across the street's doing, but not necessarily in the entire neighborhood and what's happening in the entire neighborhood or in your sector of the city, whether that be North Valley, West Valley, East Valley, whatever, Central Corridor. You don't know all the dynamics of your particular area, if you will.
Right.
And so price is a big point, a big part of that, right? And I always get amused, Stefan, when I hear buyers who think they know the market better than anybody else.
Right.
My neighbor used to do that. Oh, he still to this day thinks there's this shadow inventory.
Well,
I don't know where he's getting it from.
Well, old newspapers. I was on a call with one of my sellers yesterday, and she was insistent that 50% of all escrows fall apart.
50%?
Yeah. And so I was like, well, that's not my sample size. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows what happens outside of my transactions.
Right.
Maybe deals are falling apart because people aren't savvy enough to keep a deal going. I know we had an agent one time that lost a deal over $200. And I was like, well, why don't you ask you and the other agent to split that money? She's like, well, I didn't think about that. I go, well, you would have split it, then you would have, yeah. And so
boy.
maybe that deal fell apart over $200. So never will a deal fall apart from me for $200. But
Right.
So maybe it is 50% of the transactions fall apart because 50% of the people don't know what they're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And you get 2 of those people together and like, well, we want this window fixed. Well, we're not going to fix the window. Okay, deal done. Like,
And that's it's a good point because that is exactly what happens in a for sale by owner.
right.
I've got a gentleman right now. We talked in the pre-show a little bit about appraisal coming in low, right? Well, it's a for sale by owner essentially. He calls himself an agent. I don't think that he's an agent, but I mean, maybe he holds the title and holds the license or whatever. But is he an agent? Yeah, I don't really think so. And so he priced his home high. Now it's come in low after appraisal review. And by the way, this is something that I probably should share on Reflection Friday. But Fannie Mae is keeping data of all these properties and what they come in at as far as value goes. So the days of people, investors trying to take advantage of the market and maybe go higher just because it's a seller's market, quote unquote, we talked about, you're still going to be restricted even on Fannie Mae, because Fannie Mae is keeping this data, and they're not going to allow somebody just to, without a good, I don't want to say excuse, but a good reason as to why the value is so much higher than everybody else around you. You're going to have to prove it, essentially.
Right. And I got a call from an appraiser yesterday that's walking the house today. Hey, what can you do to help me get to this valuation? Because I don't see it. So sending him all my upgrades and everything that's been put in there. I mean, there is no value for lease solar. This is prepaid lease solar, so there's no cost to the seller. But he's saying that there's still no value there. It has a hot tub. It's a heated pool.
Right.
I mean, I think there's some value with the heated pool.
Right. Yeah, there's certain things that you can look at there, but as an average consumer for sale by owner, you're not going to know how to really negotiate that.
Right.
I got a heated pool and it's worth my pool's worth $20,000. That's what I paid for it. You don't get dollar for dollar in a lot of cases on those. So that can be a little difficult conversation. All right, I want to play another video here of Dave Ramsey. It's just a 15-second snippet here, and then we'll come back and talk about it too.
Get a stellar, top line, high quality realtor that adds value to the transaction. All the studies tell us that you will end up making more and or saving more than they cost you.
So you have it. A lot of people look at for sale by owner as a cheap way to sell the home. They think that, hey, I'm going to get the same price a realtor is going to get, and I'm going to save the 6% commissions, right? And that's going to be in my pocket. Not always the case.
No.
First of all, you don't know how to price it. We just talked about price. So you don't even know if you're at the maximum necessarily. And 9 times out of 10, from what I see from buyers who look at for sale by owner, they immediately think bargain as a buyer going into it, right? For sale by owner, this is a cheap guy. They don't know what they're doing. I think I can outsmart this person. I'm going to lowball it.
Well, then it becomes not so much a game of professionals or a game of, it's not two licensed professionals negotiating a contract. It's two people trying to outsmart one another. And what do I not need to disclose, and what can I get away with? And my biggest thing is how do you pre-qualify? Yeah,
right.
Hey, I'd like to walk your house. Are you pre-qualified? Do they even ask that question? No, they just want somebody to come in and buy their house.
Right. They don't know. I mean, it could be just a total stranger coming in.
Right.
With a realtor, well, it is a total stranger, but I mean somebody who's a bad person kind of thing, scoping it out to rob you or something like that. Typically, if they're with a realtor, they've been vetted a little bit, right? The realtor may know them, friends or family or past customers, whatever. And so they come with some credibility a little bit walking in your house.
Yeah, typically with the pre-qualification too, before we start looking at houses. Yes. So can you afford the house? That's the first question,
Right. Absolutely. Now, I don't want to say that there aren't any benefits to for sale by owner. There are some benefits. And maybe in certain situations, like if I was selling land and I didn't have a time frame, as to which, when to sell it or whatever, I might do a for sale by owner on a piece of land.
Out there, see what sticks.
Yeah, see what sticks or whatever. And I didn't really care about maximizing. But as Dave Ramsey said, you're talking about your most valuable asset.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you have a professional help you with that transaction? For me, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Right.
But
we have a for sale. I'll just let you know, we have a for sale by owner that we wrote the contract on. And then a couple counters later, we got it approved. So even if you have a for sale by owner, if you have a realtor as a buyer's agent, you can still get that property. Don't feel like you can't not get to that property because it's for sale by owner. And if you're an agent out there watching this, just because it's a for sale by owner doesn't mean that you can't get compensated for it.
Right.
There's just, yeah. So you're handling the transaction for both of them to make sure this thing goes smooth.
Well, a lot of agents too go after for sale by owners as potential listing opportunities, right? Because the owner can't sell the property in maybe, whatever period of time. And so they say, hey, let me help you out. I got a better marketing budget for this. I can do other things that, excuse me, that you're not able to do. There you go. And Stefan brings out his book.
So
tell us about your book. Yeah.
So the number one reason people go for sale by owner is to avoid paying the commissions.
Yep.
And something, and the author is this good-looking guy right here. Huh?
Where's his hat?
Where's the camera? All right, where's his hat?
Yeah, you're off to the side there, but that's all right.
Yes,
You're good.
And I just want to talk a little bit about the book, but it's a guide on how to get top dollar if you're for sale by owner, and it talks about the stuff that you probably need to overcome as a for sale by owner. But the number one reason why I give this book out to for sale by owners, I give them to the for sale by owners is, well, there's the camera. Let me get used to this camera. Okay, there you go.
There you go.
Where am I at, camera? Okay, this is the number one reason why. Camera 2.
Look for the red light.
Right. The number one reason I give this out is because at the end of the day, they probably have a 10%, 15% chance of selling their house on their own. And then at least I'm in front of them when they're ready to start listing their house, Right. But yeah, we call for sale by owners in the real estate business the low-hanging fruit, that and those expired listings,
Yes. Yeah, it is kind of low-hanging fruit. I mean, for sale by owner. Now, we're talking about this subject because it is trending right now, because it is a quasi seller's market. Right. And it's a little bit of a perfect storm, because you have people who are they're just right at that borderline of being upside down. If they sold it on their own, they feel like, well, if I don't pay the commission, I actually walk away from this scot-free. Right. And therefore, let's put it up and see what happens. Let's take advantage of the market where the rates are currently, the number of buyers that are out there, and let's see if we can't sell it ourselves, kind of thing. And so, you could get in a lot of trouble with these things too. We talked about appraisal coming in low. We talked about, some legal issues in the past.
Well, how about locking this thing up with the buyer that can't even close? I mean, now you've burned 4, 5, 6 weeks waiting for something that might not happen. I have a really good example of a for sale by owner here, because I had a client. Speaking of land, remember, just put a for sale sign and just wait for it to stick. They said, we just want to break even, and they were 222. So it's 4 acres, Pinnacle Peak and Lone Mountain Parkway, or Lone Mountain up there in Scottsdale. Pinnacle Peak and Lone Mountain.
Yep.
4 acres over there. So I said, well, let me take a look. I said, well, there's four properties that are similar that are trying to sell for 290. So I said, if we put our property on for like 270, 275, we'll be the cheapest one of the bunch, and you'll get your 222 and then some. And she says, okay, if you think so, we just want to get rid of it. We want to, break even. Right. I said, well, so let's try it. So we put it on the market for 275. Then we got an offer for 260, like within 3 hours. And she's like, well, let's take it. I go, well, listen, my commissions on this transaction are about $7,800. So let's counter back at 268. And she says, well, do you think they'll leave? I go, they wrote the offer in 3 hours. I think they're going to entertain a counter. So we counter back at 268. We had the offer accepted within about 3 more hours after that. And I had the buyers pay for my commission by raising that price, if that makes sense, right? Yeah. And so, and more importantly, they wanted to just get 222, and I was able to put another $40,000 in their pocket, or 35 after the cost. Right.
Yeah, no, that's a great example, because had she done that on her own, put the sign in the yard or whatever, she probably would have even told the person, hey, I'll accept 225. That's my lowest offer, lowest and best. Yeah. Okay, great. Knowing that she's leaving a lot of money on the table, as Dave Ramsey said, hiring a professional realtor who does this for a living, who's in tune with what the market is doing, is super advantageous for you when you're selling your most valuable asset. And studies have shown, numerous studies, you can look on the internet anywhere and see that if you hire the right realtor, and I got to express that quite a bit because they're, like he said at the first clip there, there are realtors out there doing 1 or 2 transactions a year. That's not necessarily the right realtor.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not saying they're the bad realtor, but if you want them to sell your asset, do you want the best or do you want just average?
Right.
I would want the best. Somebody who's doing it time in, time out, week in, week out, who's really on the pulse of exactly what's happening in real
Just say
estate.
the average realtor does maybe 5-6 deals a year or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, that's, and I would even take it a step further and say that most realtors, I would say it's probably 90-10 rule now,
right.
you know, where 10% of the realtors are doing 90% of the business kind of thing, not the, you know, 10 or 20% of realtors doing 80% of the business. So it's narrowed a little bit, my
I
opinion.
think we had like 12 transactions in April and 10 for May. I mean, it's not like it's not like we're not number one in the valley by any means, but we do a lot of transactions. We know how to keep deals together. That's the key part.
Yeah.
You know, we had 12 that closed in April, not like
Right. Right.
24 and 12 that closed or something.
All right. We'll end here with Mr. Dave Ramsey and his good piece of advice here.
My advice: use a good realtor.
There you go.
Oh, there
Use
you
a good
go. It's
realtor.
from Dave Ramsey. He's an
Dave
author
Ramsey.
too.
Yeah. He's,
He's, like,
he's an author too.
He's a little more famous than me, but
Yeah. So, but yeah, use a good realtor, and that's certainly
Yeah.
hard to find is a good realtor. So, but you got one right here on the show. Here's a good realtor. Here's a good lender.
And if you need to get qualified, we got a good lender on the show. Oh,
Yeah. Right. Right.
Sure.
So, with that being said, we're going to wrap things up for today. Trending Tuesday for sale by owner. Think twice about that for sale by owner, and if nothing else, at the very least, interview a realtor, several realtors before you think that you can do it on your own.
Maybe we'll do a question and answers on that part too for the throwback questions if you want.
For what?
If you want, like top 5 questions for listing agent or FISBO
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
as a FISBO. I don't know.
There you go.
talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. All right, we do this Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Arizona time. So join us for the live show. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, give us that thumbs up and share with your friends and family. And as always, we're here to earn your business. So if you're looking to buy, sell, refinance, or invest in property, we definitely would love to talk to you. So until tomorrow, everybody, a wacky Wednesday. Have a great day, and we hope to see you out there shopping for a home very soon. Take care, everyone.
All right. Thanks, everybody.